Hey guys, Zach from 3 Crowns here. Today I want to talk to you about on-page SEO, what it is, how to do it right, where advisors often go wrong. So let's jump right into it. So today I just want to go over 6 easy ways you can optimize your on-page SEO. Up front, we're talking content and keywords. When you look at your website, are you making it clear what you do? Does it say financial planner, financial advisor, wealth planner, whatever iteration of that job title you want to use? Does it say that clearly on your website? If somebody lands on your website, within 5 seconds, would they be able to tell what you do and what you offer people? A lot of advisors will often have something that's very a nice sentiment, but doesn't get down to the nitty-gritty of what they do. So make sure it's clear who you are and what you do. Raise that flag high and raise it fast. Also, as far as your location, is your location on there? Is your contact information up to date? Is everything ready to go? Is everything right as it should be? You know, you're putting your website out there. You want people to reach you through it. All too often we see advisor websites with forms that don't work, outdated information on them. So just make it somebody's job. Just pick somebody one week and say, hey, by the end of the week, we need to make sure we have our updated website. We need to make sure that this form is working. You know, something's happening weird here. So just as far as that's about on-page SEO, because it's about making sure your website works for the people who are looking for that information. Tip number 2, use headers. Headers are that big text that breaks up the smaller text if you're reading, say, a blog, and they will tell you, okay, here's what the next section is about. Headers, you might think, well, I want people to read my entire blog. Well, people don't want to read your entire blog. People don't read entire blogs. Statistics consistently show that that's not what happens. So if you can make your headers good, then you can make sure that they get to the most important stuff that you want them to be reading. So make your headers good. Make sure they do the job that they're supposed to do. Use headers a lot. If you're not using at least 3 to 4 headers in every blog you publish, then you're not using enough of them. Number 3, name your URLs well. Google actually does care about the URL of your pages. If they see that some page is called yourfirm.com/about, that's a big deal. You know, if you want to go with our story or something like that, you can, but you can make it clearer by sticking with the standardized naming like about, or if you're naming your blogs, make sure that your blog title is in the URL and that your keywords are at least in the URL. Tip number 4, give your images alt descriptions. A lot of advisors don't do this one. So when say you're on a WordPress website, you will have the option to add alt descriptions when you upload images to your website. Make sure that alt description includes your keyword, but also includes a description of what the image is. Alt descriptions are specifically intended to be used by people who are visually impaired or otherwise need those descriptions to tell them what the image is of rather than being able to see it for themselves. And you can do yourselves a service by including your keyword, and you can do the people who visit your site who need it a service by making sure that there's an accurate alt description of what the image depicts. Tip number 5, add a meta description. If you get nothing else from this video, go add the Yoast SEO plugin to your website. If you're on WordPress, you can get a free version of the Yoast SEO plugin. If you have a website on something like Squarespace or Wix, then they will have an SEO plugin where you can do this. But you want to add a meta description. It's up to 160 characters. Once you hit around 160 characters, that's where Google truncates it or cuts it off. You'll always see in their search results pages, there are descriptions where it ends with a ... in the middle of a sentence. Honestly, not that huge of a deal if you have truncated meta descriptions, but you want to make sure that the information that you want people to get, the most engaging, enticing information, is before the truncation happens. And if you can avoid truncating altogether, which you should be able to, then do that. Last tip, set an SEO title. So this is the title that will show up on search result pages. It's separate from the actual title of a blog or a page. The SEO title is done through your SEO plugin, or if you're going old school, you can do it through the HTML, but pretty much everyone does it through a plugin these days. But the SEO title is shorter, so page titles truncate very quickly on Google search results or any search results. They will truncate at, I think it's around 60 characters. It depends on the font size really, but it's, most people say between 55 and 60 characters is when you want to cut it off. And if you think about it, 55 to 60 characters is not a whole lot of space. You're getting 5 to 8 words maybe before you hit that 55 to 60 characters. So it's creating SEO titles is a really good practice in getting down to the nut of what you want to say, what that page is there to accomplish. So that's it for the 6 tips for on-page SEO. Again, that's review your content and keywords, make sure you're using the right words on your pages. Use headers to help people and Google bots navigate your page as well. Name your URLs well to include keywords. Give images alt descriptions that include keywords plus descriptions of the images. Specify meta descriptions that are up to 160 characters and really invite people to come and click. And number 6 is set an SEO title that's 55 to 60 characters tops to avoid truncation. Thanks so much. Talk to you next time. Bye.